nighttime. So hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tiana. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. And for those of you who have not been here yet, well, there's a lot of you, so thank you guys so much. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to anti-MLM content, unethical business practices, and just some shady shit, y'all. So if anybody caught my live, the last one, honestly, you guys, I do not expect anybody to sit through those 2-hour videos either. Like, if you want to catch the live, if you want to sit in, happy to do a live. If you want to catch the replay, but I'm not going to be pressed. It's not going to be like a sit-down, educational, edited kind of video. It's just going to be like a chat with people. So, if you did catch the live, I did a little blurb for a movie called The Cost of Silence, and I honestly feel like I couldn't watch this documentary and not discuss it. It's to me, it's too important to not discuss. So I wanted to make a video still covering it, you guys. It is some unethical, shady shit, so it's not like this is like unheard of on this channel, but it's not anti-MLM, so if like, I guess if you're like pressed about it, I'm so sorry. So the documentary is called The Cost of Silence, and it is directed by Mark Manning, a former offshore diver, and he is accompanied by Dr. Ricky Ott in a lot of the film in the, I guess, like the political activism front, and she is a marine toxicologist, and she spent a lot of time working on the Exxon Valdez oil spill. I don't know much about it. I learned so much stuff from this video, you guys. So there was an oil spill. I'm like, some of us aren't old enough to remember this stuff too, you know what I mean? Like, some of us are, like, to me, so for those of you who don't know, I will be 27 next week.
It's my mother birthday.
We know it's your birthday.
But like, there are some people who watch this channel who are younger, and there are some people who watch my channel who are older, who are going to remember these things, and there are some people who don't know these things. So if you guys are like, if you guys know it all, then great, you know it all. But there are some things that I learned, and there are some things that maybe some people who didn't know, like, if you're not vested in this stuff, it's going to be new to you. So I didn't know that there was an oil spill in Alaska in, I guess, like the late 80s, early 90s, and it had a lot of repercussions on the community and the wildlife and all of the marine animals, all of that stuff. And the BP oil spill, you guys. Oh yeah, by the way, did I introduce what we're talking about? This is about the BP oil spill. So The Cost of Silence, I don't think I gave this like very much a proper intro, but it is about how BP has worked to cover up this oil spill, and how they don't have a proper plan in place to take care of the oil spills. And right now, the plan that's in place to take care of the oil spills is causing people extreme health problems and like breathing problems, skin problems, lesions, rashes, cancer, like some of the highest rates of cancer you've seen, and BP and the EPA and the Coast Guard and the government and everybody is working to cover it up, because it was stated in the film, like, public perception was more important than public safety. Like, at the end of the day, like, it was more important that everybody thought that they were safe rather than actually keeping people safe. And that to me is one of the saddest things, because it's just like BP did everything that they could to avoid accepting any liability. They claim that they're going to help to treat these people for what, like, the things that they've caused, like these problems that they've caused, but then it's like you start to read the fine print and then they won't even help these people with these things. So I don't even know. So let's just, we're just going to go through it. And if I will link the video down below. So I don't know, it was a live streaming, the video that I watched, and there were a lot of people watching it that the streaming went down, so they posted the video up for a couple hours for people to watch. So I actually watched it twice within this time frame. The first time I kind of watched it and I like took it in, and then the second time I like really digested like what did I just watch, like because I think it was like a lot to take in. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I had to watch it twice. But yeah, so it takes place. So the BP oil spill happens in 2010, and it's stated to just be like an exponential amount of oil, like multiple times the amount of the oil that was spilled in the Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska. It was stated that over 200 million gallons of crude oil was pumped into the Gulf of Mexico over the course of 87 days. So that's what, 3 months that oil was just pumping out into the ocean, and that they couldn't seal this thing up. And it should be obvious that it had effects on the ocean, the ecosystem, everything around it. You know, and not only that, like like basic science, you guys, like if we go back to like 7th grade, 8th grade, like we learn that like the ocean, the water, like things travel and get carried up, and like rain, and it comes down, like it doesn't just stay in one place, you know, this stuff travels. So it went into the ocean, but it also went everywhere. And their cleanup plan was this chemical called Corexit. And Corexit is a dispersant. And this dispersant, it basically was known to break down all of like the fine oil particles.
Had there been no Exxon Valdez oil spill, the world may never have known Corexit. Corexit is similar to kerosene, but without the smell. Corexit is being tested along the shoreline of 4 islands in Prince William Sound. Workers spray the beaches with Corexit and then wait about 15 minutes. They then hose the beach down, allowing the oil to float out into the water, and from there, skimmers scoop it up.
But, you know, there's not a lot of studies that have really been done on this, and they found that this dispersant pushed the oil down really into like to the water floor, or to the ocean floor, more than it actually dissolved this oil in the ocean. So it made it look like there was less oil in the ocean, but there actually wasn't less oil in the ocean. And what they also failed to look at was the combination of what this crude oil plus this Corexit agent, this chemical agent, what that combination and effect would have. And that combination was seen to be as 52 times like more toxic than just the crude oil alone. So you've got this disaster relief plan that the government has for cleaning up, you know, or like that BP has, or that these companies have to have put in place in order to start doing this offshore drilling for oil and stuff like that. They like need to have a cleanup plan in place. Their cleanup plan is this Corexit, and they go, and so after 87 days of this oil pumping into the Gulf of Mexico, and to disperse this oil, they go and they fly planes over it for I think they said it was like 8 weeks, like 2 to 3 times a day. I don't know, just something ridiculous. 10 to 12 flights a day for 2 to 3 months. 2 million plus gallons over the ocean and the residents of this Corexit shit, you guys. Like, with no regard. 10 to 12 flights over the people and the ocean a day of this stuff, pumping 200 million gallons. Like,
you done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
What? You know what I mean? Like with no regard, you guys. And there's no safety studies, whatever. There's no data that shows that this is like okay to do. There's actually like evidence that shows like it's like not gonna be good. And so Dr. Ricky Ott, she is one of, I've briefly mentioned before, she's one of the people that worked on the Exxon Valdez oil spill, and she saw the detrimental effects that it had on the ecosystem, the environment, and she basically showed up into this community and started to tell them what was going to happen. Like that these are the repercussions that are going to come, and we meet these people along the way. In this documentary, we meet these individual families that feel defeated. They feel hopeless. They feel lost. They feel taken advantage of. They feel, I don't know. It's really heartbreaking because it's like these people did nothing but live their lives, and they just so happened to live near a coast, and which a company with no morals, no ethics, no values, like nothing, you guys, like doesn't care, and then claims to care about people, but it's really all for capitalistic gain. It's just really sad to see some of these things that have spun out. So now basically what happens is that they spill this Corexit agent over the Gulf of Mexico. They do all these flights. They spray it over all these people, and they just let everybody like go about their like daily activities and do whatever. Like anybody who's exposed is exposed. Like I said, like public perception was more important than like public safety. So telling everybody to like not go and like not experience the beaches or the touristy shit or like whatever, like that was like, no. Like people were going. The money was flowing. Like let it rain Corexit, and let the people keep coming to the beaches, you know? So it's just no regard for human life, okay? Because money is more important. Oil is more important than, you know, anybody's, you know, whatever, anybody's livelihood. And you guys, why this is important is because, like I said, Corexit is a part of what the disaster plan is. And for anybody to offshore drill, you need this disaster plan. And people with some skin in the game want to expand offshore drilling, and anybody who lives near a coast, this is going to affect you. I live near the ocean. If you live near a base or you live near anything where they want to drill, they want to offshore drill, like it's going to affect you. It's going to affect anybody because if at any moment one of these things, these oil spills occurs, and it just leaks into the ocean, you know what they're going to do? They're going to just start flying Corexit over at any point in time, and there's going to be no warning to anybody. So, I don't know. That's just like, what? So, the documentary, it spoke with one person. Her name was Kendra Arneson, and she spoke about her family, her children, the experiences of children within the community, losing hair, having nosebleeds, bleeding from their ears.
All these little kids running around down here that I know personally with rashes and upper respiratory problems, and one was just diagnosed with a blood disorder. One little dude still got bald spots all over his head. We still got kids having nosebleeds on a regular basis. Let me see your hand. No, it's not okay. It's definitely not okay. What, baby?
That when I woke up, but my nose.
Excessive skin rashes and lesions, and extremely high rates of cancer. There's a scene in which they drive through their town, and she starts pointing to houses and goes like, this person's cancer, that person, she just passed away, cancer. And it's like, they said that it was like in a town of like 4,000 people, they were having a funeral like every week for somebody who was passing away.
You have 4,000 people, and there's a funeral every weekend, there's a problem.
Oh no, it's not okay down here. I mean, you go to 22 funerals in 22 months?
Like, I don't know, it's like I'm seeing so many dum-dums, not to call you guys dum-dums, I'm so sorry, but I'm seeing some people that are just thinking like really naively about our government and think like, no, they would never do that to us. That's illegal. If something's illegal, the government's not gonna do it. Oh my gosh, they would never do this to us. Wrong. Literally wrong. Literally wrong.
No competition. That was so awful. It was beyond description.
Like, I don't know how much more tone deaf and louder I gotta get for you to understand that that's wrong. Like, I literally just had somebody in my comments being like, well, MLMs wouldn't be around for 75 years if they were illegal. And I'm like, bro, get out of my comments. Literally, goodbye. So much goodbye. So yeah, just that shit just makes me angry, you guys. It made me angry. And then to top it off, you guys, the ones who are in charge of doing the science. The ones that are in charge of doing the science are the people who are in charge of causing the scientific mayhem. The BP is then the ones that are going to go and do the studies and do the tests and run the labs and do the things for the people who got sick from the thing that they don't want to take and accept culpability of. None of the doctors, you guys, will treat any of these people for chemical reactions, chemical, like chemical problems, because if the doctors say that it's a chemical problem, then there's gonna be blood on somebody's hands, and that hand's gonna be BP's hands, and they're like, no, it's not gonna be our hands, sorry. Like, it's gonna be the people. It's gonna be the people's hands. So, hope you guys enjoy your rashes. Like, honestly, it's just so fucked, you guys. So yeah, so they won't see anybody for chemical toxicity. They don't want to add any evidence to like this Corexit disaster. They don't want to take any culpability, any liability. BP's trying to wipe their hands clean. And they've got the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, you guys. They've got the EPA basically letting them do this. They're like saying, oh, you guys need to cut back on how much Corexit you guys are using. And then they're like, okay, we'll just like, is this good? You know what I mean? Like, is this enough? Like,
remember this figure, 75%. That's the amount of dispersant the Environmental Protection Agency told BP they had to cut back in using. 75%. That was about a month ago, and the EPA made it known they were taking a hard line, really being tough.
Made it clear to BP last night that we expect nothing less. We expect to see a substantial reduction in the overall amount of dispersant used.
The EPA and Coast Guard say BP mostly complied, reducing its dispersant usage by 68%. But did they really? Turns out, not really. We crunched the numbers. According to dispersant data released daily, between April 30th and May 26th, an average of more than 25,000 gallons of dispersant were used each day. Since May 26th, the day EPA directed BP to cut back, the daily average use has only dropped to a little more than 23,000 gallons a day. That's only a 9% drop. Gulf Coast environmentalists say federal agencies like the EPA and the Coast Guard haven't been tough enough on getting BP to scale back dispersant use.
just some bullshit is what it is. Guys, you gotta watch the documentary though. Like, you really do gotta watch the documentary. It's very eye-opening. It's very saddening. And yeah, it's just some BS. I don't know how many times I can say it's just some BS. But yeah, so essentially, you guys, yeah, BP, they came in, they're like, okay, so we'll run the health clinics. So if you're sick, you can come here. And they basically said, like, yeah, chemical toxicity, though, we're not going to treat. And then it's like these small communities, they're trying really, really hard, like really, really hard to come together to make these clinics and these community health centers where they can treat people. And they're so defeated, you guys, because they don't have the money and they don't have the funds and they don't have the resources to take care of these people in the capacity that they need to. And it's just devastating. Like, we do not, like, just because something is legal doesn't make it right, you guys. And like, it's just like this plan that BP has, that the government has, that like people have, I don't know. It's just sketch nation. Oh yes, so the company that you guys, and then not only that, and the companies that ran these independent third-party lab tests on top of everything, it's a company called ChemRisk, and you guys, they're the same ones that did the lab tests for like big tobacco, asbestos. They said something else, chromium-6, you guys, like, It's just all sketch. It's just it's all smoke and mirrors. They don't want you to see that like they like don't actually care about anybody. So it's just all about money. It's like, how much money can we make? How, like, if we take liability, we're gonna have to pay money. We're gonna have, you know, issues down the line, drilling more if we want to drill more. So it's all about maintaining this perception that it's all fine and dandy, all the oil's gone, but it's really just pushed down into the water columns, and it's just like sitting in the ocean, and it's not gone. And you know, I mean, there's even a scene where it talks about the workers and how even the workers like had insanely high risks of these like pulmonary lung diseases. And then to top it off, it's like if some of these workers like tried to show up with like masks on, and they told him like no. They was like, they were given hard hats, and that's it. And if you don't like your hard hat, then you can get the fuck out. And it's like, bro, what? I don't know. So anyways, like, I just wanted to talk about this. Like I said, if maybe you learned something new, maybe you didn't learn something new. I was a little bit enraged. I wanted to talk about this. So stay tuned. Until next time, au revoir. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you very much.
Good night, girl. I'll see you tomorrow.